This is the Vet Alumni Podcast with Tek Prem.
It's the Vet Alumni Podcast. I'm Tek, he's Prem, and we got a lot to get to, so we might as well unpack it. Eagles 2-0.
A lot of crying.
Going into Arrowhead.
All I see is crying.
God!
I'll tell you what, it's ridiculous.
Well, look.
It's ridiculous. Look, they're a power football team that plays tough defense with deep threats lurking. That's who they are. They're a power football team. Now, that would have been praised for decades, but because it's Jalen Hurts, it's a problem.
Well, the tush-push nationally is the issue, and I don't want to have the long, drawn-out tush-push discussion.
It's not worth it.
But there's two trains of thought here, and I think they're both death by 1,000 cuts when it comes to tush-push, and I think it could be either one of these approaches that lead to the same result. I think either. And both are league objectives, by the way. It's a league front office objective, I think, is for either, unless it's egregious, and I mean really egregious, I think the officials, the objective for them is to let it go. Let the neutral zone infractions go. Let the false starts go.
Because it's on both sides. It's happening on both sides.
Right. Let it go.
You know what the origin of that is, though? The origin of all of that is the desperation on part of the defense is to stop it.
Right.
And the beginning of that desperation in terms of being manifested was in the playoffs with that Lububu kid from Washington.
Lubu, yes,
I call him Lububu.
Yeah.
That kid jumping over the line of scrimmage like 4 different times where the ref actually had to say,
we're going to give it to him
if you do it again, pal, you're on timeout. You're going in the corner like a child. So because of that desperation, now like they try to jump and they hit the ball and it's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Tom Brady used to get pushed all the time on sneaks.
True. I think I think the Goodell objective is to say, look, don't officiate it. Let the owners see.
They're going to, though. They're going to have the ref kind of do what they did in that Sunday night game, and they stand in front of the line of scrimmage.
So that's why I'm saying it's either one of two ways, and they're both death by 1,000 cuts. Either don't officiate it, let the owners get fed up with it so we get our votes to ban it this offseason. Let the owners get fed up, or let's officiate the crap out of it and let it be like, okay, we got to ban this. It's ridiculous. It slows the game down because it's constantly penalized. So it's death by 1,000 cuts. No matter how you figure it out, it's going to be banned from one of these two ways.
You know what the irony is? This club, the way they're built with that O-line and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, if they just ran conventional sneaks, they would probably still get close to the same rate.
Yeah.
If they just ran conventional, hand it to Saquon, let him get a yard.
Which is why I don't really think, even if it's banned, I don't think it'll be a big deal.
You know what we're going to see this week, and I'm predicting it now.
What's that?
You're going to see them line up for a tush push on a third down.
And then fake it and pitch it out. Pitch it out to Saquon.
Not that. Better. You're going to have one of your tight ends, fake block, slip into the seam. Boom. No one's back there.
Oh, I like that.
And you just hit them for a quick 6.
I like that.
And then because if it's incomplete, no big deal. Then you're 4th and 1, you do your tush push.
I like that.
I want to see it.
I
think Sirianni is kind of like what I love about Nick, and I've grown to love about him more, is he relishes in kind of being like the villain to an extent.
He don't mind it.
I think he likes the fact that the whole league is crying. Everybody's whining about this play. We're talking about a play that usually nets 1 yard.
1 yard. Maybe 2. We're talking about a short yardage play
here. You have
a
quarterback running back combo who squat almost a ton together.
Meanwhile, the Chiefs fans and the national pundits, they're making a case that the only reason why, and when I say national, it's not just the Nick Wrights of the world, also Adam Schefter, who said
he got owned by Kincaid.
Who said this game was lost in March? What Schefter said.
He got owned by Kincaid. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I didn't.
He was on Kincaid, and Kincaid pressed him, and Schefter was like backwalking it a bit.
Well, he has to, because look, the bottom line is if anybody watched that game and thought the tush push was the reason why the Eagles won, then we're living in two separate realities.
It's because Mahomes had a 9.2 quarterback rating when facing pressure.
And by the way, just like, look, and this is the way football is. You know, it's always like, well, that's baseball. Well, look, that's football. And when I say that, I mean, last year, you know, Saquon was a drop away. Devontae was a drop away. We were a couple drops away from earning the 1 seed outright without having to take over the 1 seed in the playoffs.
Being almost undefeated.
Right. We were a couple drops, right. So
isn't that crazy? Well, they would have one loss because the game that Jalen left.
Right. So look at the 2 weeks. Look at the first 2 weeks of this season. A couple drops that go into our favor to win these games.
Now they're going to soar, man. Look, I just love how Jalen, he approaches the whole scenario. He broke it down. He said, look, a lot of it's on me to orchestrate the flow of the offense. And, you know, right now we have a lot to learn from, and it's kind of like we got to go through an evolution here. And he's just got the right kind of cool head about it while the rest of the world's brains explode because he still manages to win without having gaudy numbers.
Because it's not going to happen. This isn't a conventional offense. And let's get into that for a second because all I've heard all week, and even I was guilty of it too, and until I got a hold of some of the All-22, not the whole game. I only had access to the first half, to be honest, but I saw some of the All-22, and I rewatched the game. After I saw the first half of the All-22, I knew what to watch for, so I rewatched the game. So everyone's blaming Kevin Patullo. Even I did. Okay, so here's the deal, right? Kevin Patullo is not blameless in all this.
No, but it's not only him. They're playing a lot of zone, man. These defenses are playing a lot of zone. But it's not just
on the defenses, because this is the problem. There's 3 things going on. 3. And they all impact each other. 1 and 2 impact 3.
Right.
Greatly. So all I hear is about the play calling, even from Mina Kimes, who I love. I listen to her. I respect her. She knows ball more than a lot of these people.
She's really good. Mina's really good.
And she came, Patullo. It's like, yo, we're all seeing the same problems since Brian Johnson, since Kellen Moore. Playoffs. Eagles playoffs had this offensive issue. This is not just a Kevin Patullo thing. It's a Nick Sirianni. There's a triad here. The 3 principal factors into the 3 problems. And that is Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, and Jalen Hurts. These are the 3 constants of these past 3 years. Right. Patullo's been here since Sirianni's been here. So these are the 3 factors. All 3 of these guys' fingerprints are all over this offense.
Of course.
So
And they've won a lot.
Yes, despite everything, it's because
won a lot.
Jalen and Sirianni, they're winners. Listen, these 3 guys, they're winners, but they are the principal factors in this offense, and there are 3 problems currently presenting themselves with this offense. And it's not the play calling. Play calling is taken a little too out of context, I think. It's play calling. There's a sheet, there's situations, and there's plays for all situations. And that's play calling the plays, okay?
Right.
That hasn't necessarily been great, okay? Fine.
It was really good against the Cowboys.
For the first half, yes. Yes, we saw a functioning offense. But there are 3 things that are problematic. And one is not the play calling necessarily, but the plays that are being called. What I mean by that is the same thing that plagued us with Brian Johnson and Kellen Moore. It's the play designs.
Well, they're not running enough variations out of different formations.
No.
When they're in the pistol, they're going to do a certain thing. When they're in the shotgun or under center, it's almost always a run if they're under center.
Right.
You have to mix it up.
And all
But they're
going
to get better with that. This was their preseason.
I know.
This was their preseason.
I'm getting to that too.
Yeah.
This is all the routes are go routes. They're all vertical routes down the field. There's very little underneath for Jalen.
You need crossers. Yeah, you need deep ends.
So that's the first problem. And it's impacted by the second problem. The second problem is we're used to a gold standard, and I know this pains me to say it. And It pains me to say it, and I know people don't want to hear it, but we have to come to reality, come it down to earth a little bit. This isn't the same O-line, okay? The second problem here is protection and blocking. Yeah, protection is an issue. Landon Dickerson got abused almost the entirety of the game by Chris Jones. It was bad. Yeah. It was really bad.
Jalen didn't have the typical pocket most of that game. game.
And without Johnny Wilson and Dallas Goedert being in and out of the lineup, the first play of the game is a McNabb to T.O. 60-yard bomb for a touchdown. That was what was designed. It was designed to stun the crowd, open up with a dagger like we finished.
Yeah.
That's what the play design was.
We still got a variation of a dagger, though.
I get, well, that was a go route, and it was planned. I didn't think it was planned. I thought, well, he just had to get rid of it. No, they talked on the sideline. That was a planned go route.
He meant to underthrow that.
That's right.
That was a designed underthrow.
Yes, the whole play was a go route
And
designed.
you know what, Jalen, here's the thing about Jalen. Every single game in this stretch, he makes that at least that one play they have to have down the field at any point in the game when they really need it.
They could be garbage.
He comes up with it.
They could be garbage for 3 quarters, and then he gets that one
just
play
to keep
that's
them
the
ahead.
difference.
Keep them ahead in the winning column.
Correct. That is correct.
He makes those plays. That's what is just glossed over too much by people.
Because that kind of defies all the numbers and everything else.
Right, because it's timing.
Right.
It's
but
timing.
that first play, Grant Calcaterra got paper machéed. I mean, he just got obliterated, and Jalen Hurts is looking, and then all of a sudden, his neck has to go, what? And then he's got to scramble, and he did this awkward pivot, and the ball squirted out.
He knocked the ball off his leg like he did in the Super Bowl. Yes,
it was like this awkward thing because that wasn't supposed to happen. In his mind, it was set. We were going to hit him with a dagger right off.
But they don't turn the ball over, man. They just don't turn it over.
A.J. Brown was wide open down. All right, so let's get to the number 3. First of all, the protection. Okay, blocking and protection. The O-line and the tight ends you have, they're not, Landon Dickerson's dealing with something. I think Mailata's kind of dealing with something too, but at least you got Mailata, Johnson, and Steen is 50-50. He's good and he's not so good. So he's in and out.
Right. I mean, Mekhi Becton had a phenomenal year last year.
You're missing
the guy.
You're
is
missing,
definitely a stud.
And something people don't talk about, you're missing Johnny Wilson. Calcaterra stinks at blocking, and the other guy, Granson, he's just invisible.
Well, I think Goddard's coming back this week.
I hope.
I think he was practicing.
They're going to need him. They're going to need Goddard back. He's in and out of the lineup. That's part of the problem. He's a beast when he's in there. When they're out, it's a deficiency.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got the play designs, number 1. You got blocking protection, number 2. And number 3, you can't have problems with the offense and Jalen be completely blameless, okay? It's a small percentage, but here's what you're seeing on the film. If you watch some of the film, you're seeing that, and by the way, it's not Jalen. Look, number 1 and number 2 impact what Jalen's doing. Jalen's going back to, if you watch, they're saying, oh, well, AJ's not open. Devontae, yes, they get open. They're open for a split second, and then they're not, right?
He's not going to put the ball in harm's way.
Well, Jalen's not taking the risks,
no,
right?
He's not going to do it.
If the play design was aided by perfect protection and blocking the way he needs it,
well, then he would.
He would.
Sure.
He would.
It all has to work together. You got 11 guys. It has to work together.
These 3 things come together in a triad of excellency, and when you got that, you have a perfectly functioning
And I
offense.
got news for you. A lot that Chiefs defense, people forget. That's a Super Bowl defense. That's
it is,
Steve
but
Spagnuolo, front.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're a 7-win team this year. I think
they're going to win more than that.
Really?
They're going to win 10, 11 games. Yeah, absolutely.
I think
because they're seasoned.
I think they could miss the playoffs.
No, they're seasoned. They're seasoned. They're just like we had our preseason. They just had their preseason.
They could be a wild card team
but they
this
could
year.
very easily be 2-0, just like they're 0-2. They could very easily be 2-0.
I just think
really, we could have lost that game just as easily as we won that game, and the Chiefs could have beat the Chargers just as easily as the Chargers beat them.
In the first half, and it was on the Saquon drive, they took advantage when Saquon scored of the Chiefs lost their second-best edge rusher and their second-best corner.
Yeah.
And for the game, on those drives, Mike Dana and Christian Fulton, gone.
So, yeah.
They lost them both on that drive. We scored. It was like, this is good. We could take advantage of their deficiencies. And then we didn't from then on out until the momentum changed on the Kelsey drop, which Makuba picked off, which was phenomenal. He's a magnet for the ball.
I'm telling you, man, it's funny. Right before that play, I said to myself, like, I felt an interception or something coming. I truly felt something coming.
They showed Jalen. I watched them mic'd up, and Jalen was like, man, we need a turnover. And then a minute later, the turnover happens.
Man. Look, that's what this team does on this stretch. They're just a bunch of winners, and now the new guys come in, and they soak up that culture. Now, you got 2 years in a row. Last year, you bring in Coop and Q. Now you bring in Makuba and Campbell. I mean,
yeah, first week
the
was
rich get richer.
The first week was the Campbell game. The second week was the Makuba game.
Campbell is on track to be the defensive rookie of the year right now.
Yeah, I think.
It's early, but
we might be a repeat of last year where we have two guys in the running for that.
I'm telling you, look, these guys. It's so early in the season. We talked about it last week. 2 years in a row,
you win on first and second round.
It's unheard of. But we talked about it last week that, after September football is over, then you really get a good picture of what teams are when September football's over. Well, I thought we'd come out of September. I honestly thought that 3-1 was most likely. But really, the Rams... Yeah, Stafford's good.
I think 3-1 is likely.
They beat the Rams.
Yeah, I think Tampa could be a letdown game.
Honestly, this team, I feel like they're past letdown games. The letdown game would have been KC.
Here's the thing.
Letdown game would have been KC.
I don't know. Tampa Bay's defense is tremendous.
Isn't that game here?
No, it's in Tampa. It's a weather game in Tampa. That's the issue that I have.
Oh, it's going to be a weather game. What do you mean?
Well, it's always the weather game because it's so
I hope
humid
it's raining.
and sticky there.
I hope it's raining because any rain games always are going to benefit the
Well, they always call it the weather game because it's like real humid and sticky, and it's really conditions that don't benefit us. So we go down there, and that benefits them because they train in it.
I'm kind of nostalgic, Tech, and because of that nostalgia, I honestly wouldn't be that upset if they're 2-2 after 4 games because last year.
No, I know it's symbolic.
You don't want to lose 2 in a row.
And I fear 10-1. I fear 10-1 again.
You don't want to lose. Well, that was a whole different scenario.
I know.
You don't want to lose 2 in a row. I think that they do beat the Rams on Sunday. It's at home. It's 1:00. You get first 1:00 Sunday kickoff at the Link. Who doesn't love the 1:00 kickoff?
Well, A.J. Brown's going to have a favorable matchup.
I think A.J. Brown.
He's got like 35 pounds on the guy who's defending him.
He's gonna finally break out a bit.
Who I think is Emmanuel Forbes. Is that his name?
Yeah, he was on Washington.
Yeah,
and now the Rams got him. Yeah, this game is a 6-point Birds win. I'll go 30-24 on this one.
Wow.
I think that because it's Stafford, he's good for 7 more points than Dak would have been good for in Philly.
Matthew Stafford is the number 1 rated quarterback through 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Devontae Adams looks like
Baker Mayfield is number 2.
Devontae Adams has the fountain of youth so
and
far this year.
We see both of them. We see number 1 and number 2 in the quarterback rankings. Yeah. This week and next week.
Well, and the Bucs have this good new young slot receiver, Kugba, I think is.
Yeah, he's really good.
Pretty good.
And their defense is tremendous. So,
but our defense is the true X factor in all these games because we just went out there in a game that KC had to have in their stadium with the Super Bowl revenge on their mind.
Yeah.
And our defense is why we won the game.
Oh, it is.
I mean, Jalen obviously did enough not to lose it. But our defense is why we won both of these games.
I think we should have beat them down a little more than we did.
Yeah, they had a clear path to really. They were in position to run away with that.
Yeah, their roster is. It's not even hyperbole. It is inferior on a drastic scale.
Well, it was in the Super Bowl too,
Eagles.
And now we beat them 3 straight games. There's no secret why we did.
Right. And Mahomes looked good Sunday. I mean, he looked good.
Well, he had to actually do his best Jalen Hurts impression.
He did, yes.
And I thought about that.
Jalen couldn't even do his Jalen Hurts thing.
No, they were really. Spagnuolo is just a smart coordinator. He's one of the best in the business. Yeah. Probably top 3 at his.
He said, "All right, we stopped Saquon and said let Jalen beat us. Well, now we know Jalen can beat us, so now we got to kind of put the clamps on Jalen.
They kind of did both.
And we might not be able to shut Saquon out, but we have to keep them, at bay.
If
he got the touchdown.
If there's anybody that Saquon abuses, it's the Rams.
Yes, and he could do it again.
He had 4 60-plus yard touchdown runs last year against them. The most in NFL history was 4 against other teams or something. He had just against the Rams alone.
And they beat down the Titans last week, but I watched highlights of that, and Rams got run on against the Titans. So I think that, the
Titans were in that game, actually.
It could be similar for a little
Titans
while.
Titans were in that game.
Yeah, for a little while they were in that game. Yeah.
But we'll get to the Titans in the pick segment.
Yeah, exactly. The picks, it's coming.
They may be involved in a pick this week. But I had a good start. I was very close to an undefeated week. We'll get to it.
All right, there it is. This week presents issues, but I think the Eagles can pull this one out. I don't know if they get to 30. It's more to me like maybe a 27-23 game.
I think they break out at home, and I just think you're going to see a different iteration of the offense after their two preseason games.
It needs to be.
After their two preseason games.
Myself included, everybody needs to calm down. The offense is going to get better. The offense is going to get better.
You telling yourself to calm down?
Well, I knew it when I was seeing it. I'm like, I know they're going to improve. It's frustrating to watch it right now. It's frustrating to see them, not be what they can be.
Yeah.
And,
of course.
But
even 2-0, winning is all that matters. And
I
put this on our X account this week. For people that aren't our age, they won't really remember it much. But for our age and older, you just remember how ugly Donovan used to win games.
No, I know.
I mean, they were ugly games. But they would win. They would just win because gritty football teams, talented football teams, it doesn't matter how it looks. They don't care. They just find ways to have more points at the end of the game.
Right, and you don't even need to, produce big numbers. I mean, the Eagles, this is an unconventional offense. Quite frankly, an unconventional team that wins unconventionally.
They're a throwback.
And the bottom line
is, a throwback.
As long as they win, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
they're bucking the NFL trend.
They're a throwback. They're a throwback 60s style football team. They really are very similar to the way Lombardi's Packers used to be. They would just pound teams into oblivion.
Exactly.
That's what they do now. But we actually have deep threats lurking that are among the best in the world.
I agree.
This is why they're so effective, because defenses still have to be mindful of the fact that at any point in time, Devontae or AJ is going for 60 to the house.
Right, and if you put
it
all on them,
Jalen will make the throw.
If you put it all on them and shut them down, you're gonna have to deal with Saquon too. And if you try to clamp him, then you got to deal with Jalen Hurts taking the team on his back.
This is why they won the Super Bowl, Tek.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I got a good VetPhact for you, by the way.
All right, good. Before we get to that, I'm introducing a new segment. I'm going to do it every week. And look, not only is it subject to change, I expect it to change.
Oh, it has to.
Every
by virtue of the topic.
Week. Yes. It is my own personal power rankings. We're calling it the Tek 10. Here we go.
Let's go.
All right. Number 10. The Indianapolis Colts.
Surprising.
Make my top 10.
They deserve it. Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts are the only quarterbacks in football with a plus 70% completion percentage and no turnovers.
Right.
Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, there's your list.
There it is. Number 9. And they will be without their quarterback this weekend. The Washington Commanders. I got them at number 9. It looks like he's going to be out. I think Mariota is going to get the start against the Bengals. He hasn't practiced all week.
Bengals will win that game.
You think so without Burrow?
I'll get to it in the pick segment.
Number 8, the Detroit Lions. I'm going with the Lions because I feel like they bounced back, and they bounced back in a big way, and I think that maybe it might not be so bad for them. Maybe it was just an atrocious week.
They did bounce back, but they have a tough game, I think, in Baltimore.
They got a tough schedule.
Yeah. So that's what happens when you win.
Yeah. I mean,
Birds got a tough schedule too,
they're number 8 this week. They might not even be on the list next week.
You realize that the Birds September is like what our December could be.
Yeah.
These are tough games.
I think it's the toughest part of this schedule. I mean, until you get to the Bills.
They might come out 3-1, but Tek, don't be surprised if this club is 4-0 after these 4 games.
I won't be surprised.
Don't be surprised.
I won't be surprised. Number 7. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Deserved.
who we will see week 4.
So far, I'm with your rankings.
I think their defense is tremendous.
Yeah.
Number 6, despite record, I got to stay with the Baltimore Ravens.
You got them that low, huh?
Coming in at number 6.
I'd have them at 4, but okay.
I got them in number 6 only because I just look at these other teams right now, this week.
Well, that's what this segment is.
Yeah, Ravens could be number 3 next week.
Right.
But right now, I got them number 6. Number 5, the LA Chargers.
Deserved.
I feel like I didn't expect them. I expected
Quentin
them to be
Johnston, man.
Yeah, I expected them to be like number 10, number 9. They're on my list right now. They're number 5 this week.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's ironic that Herbert is basically the next Phillip Rivers because Rivers also played for the Chargers. But
yes,
Herbert, another one that just like Joe Burrow will never win a Super Bowl.
I saw you tweeted that. I loved it. Yeah, but Burrow out again. Another injury.
He'll never win a Super Bowl.
Joe Glass.
Unless he does like a Stafford thing later in his career, goes to a contender.
Go to a winner. That's the only way.
That's it.
I agree with you.
That's it.
Number 4, we're gonna stay in Los Angeles with the Rams.
4, huh? I would have the Ravens above the Rams, but
well, that's this week. I think the way the Rams have been winning, it's been pretty much with authority. I mean, Look, the Titans were in that game.
They were in the game for a half, yeah.
Yeah, for a half. And then the Rams were like, we got this.
Yeah.
And
they're a better football team.
Yes.
For sure.
So, and Matt Stafford having the number 1 ranked quarterback, I can't look past it. They got to be in my top 5 this week.
Now my prediction before you go to your top 3, I think you're going Chiefs, Bills, Birds, 3-2-1.
No, I'm not.
Wow.
What
you got at 3?
Number 3 is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're number 3 on my list.
You got the Packers at 1?
I got the Eagles at number 3.
And you don't even have the Chiefs in the top 10?
The Chiefs are not in my top 10.
Okay,
I think the Chiefs are inferior.
Look, until someone beats the Birds, they're number 1. You just can't.
This week,
can't do it.
After 2 weeks of football, the Chiefs ain't in the top 10. I mean, they are just.
That's fair. They're 0-2.
Yeah, they do not. And not even just that they're 0-2. They don't look like the Chiefs.
No. We ended that last February.
I get it.
I told everybody on television.
And this is the 1 week I'll be rooting for the Giants. I want to see the Roman Empire fall for the Chiefs.
Well, no, the Chiefs are going to smoke the Giants.
I hope you're right. Because, but I want to see the Giants win.
I would say if you're a bettor, take the alt spread -10 Chiefs comfortably and really make some money.
There you go.
It's a good week to take them -10. I mean, they're going to win this game like 33-16.
Yeah. Okay.
In my opinion.
My number 2 is the Buffalo Bills. It's just, I don't know, man. The way they win. It's not just that they win. It's the way they win. They like obliterate their opponent.
Yeah.
And so
But their defense is still liable to give up 40.
Yes, it is. I will admit that.
That's not how you win the postseason.
No, it isn't. But after 2 weeks of the regular season, they're number 2, and I expect them to fall a little bit on these rankings.
Okay,
I expect them to stay in the top 10, maybe even the top 5, but I don't expect them to stay at 2. And number 1, yes, the Green Bay Packers. I just feel like the way they're winning is pretty exceptional. They look like a problem. They look like the only real problem for us when it comes to the December, January
Are they
situation.
a problem? I don't know because they haven't beaten us. And
you're right.
And the last 2 tries they haven't with this club.
Their defense looks pretty elite right now.
It does. And
their offense, Jordan Love has to prove it to me. He has to prove it to me. I don't believe it completely.
Well, you shouldn't because he hasn't proven it.
But no, he hasn't. But by the way, their rookie receiver hasn't really shown me he's some great receiver yet either.
That's going to take time. Receiver's a weird position. Not everybody comes in like Megatron.
Right.
My top 5, just to kind of bounce off that, I would go Birds, Packers, Bills, Ravens, Rams.
Okay.
That's how I would top 5 it. That's my top 5.
And, look.
But, I mean, this is all subjective. It's all subjective.
And it's all completely understandable if you feel like the Eagles are number 1. I
saw the Eagles at 6 this week. I dropped my coffee cup.
I hear you. Look, that's a little too far.
What are we doing here, guys?
I think they're a top 3 team right now.
Someone's rankings had the Chiefs still ahead of the Birds.
There's no way. Look,
it was FanDuel. It was FanDuel.
I don't really care how anybody could slice or dice it. To me, right now, it's Packers, Bills, Eagles, Bills, Packers, however you want to see it.
Absolutely.
I think they're the 3 best teams in the NFL right now. I mean, that's how I see it, okay? And I'm going to give you my teams to watch, my emoji, my eyeball emoji.
Okay,
teams to watch for week 3 would be the Seahawks, the Texans, and the Broncos. These are 3 teams.
Yeah, the Broncos are sleepers.
These are 3 teams that could end up in the top 10 at some point in the next couple weeks.
We'll get to the Broncos in a pick segment as well.
There we go. All right. So, without any further ado, brought to you by the Fairless Hills Academy of Music, it's time for VetPhact.
This is a VetPhact.
Well, Tek, the rich coat-tight birds. September 19th, 1993. The Birds were 3-0 after this game because they would take care of the Washington Redskins at the Vet by a score of 34-31. It was a 27-point fourth quarter combined. The Birds winning the fourth quarter, 17-10, and Randall Cunningham, just what a day for Randall, 25 for 39, 360 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, plus he added 49 yards on the ground. The reason this game was so close with those numbers is because he also threw 2 picks. And we know that Randall sometimes would get a little pick happy.
Yeah.
This was a pretty good squad over there in Washington. You had a quarterback, though, I don't really remember. You had Kerry Conklin, throwing the ball for the Redskins. Don't remember him? It was a year after Mark Rippon. I think Mark Rippon got hurt.
I had a Topps card or upper deck card or something. Yeah. I remember the name, yeah.
Okay, this Redskins team, though, wow, they also had Art Monk, a young Desmond Howard.
Yeah.
Ricky Sanders, Ernest Biner, Brian Mitchell.
Yes, they had all these guys.
Reggie Brooks had a huge day, 22 carries. The Birds defense never did this. They allowed 154 yards to this running back on the ground. He had an 85-yard scamper for 6.
Wow.
This was, what a game to be at. I mean, at the half, the Birds trailed 14-10 at the half. You probably had some nervous fans. You had 65,435 fans crammed into the Vet. But the difference on the day for the Birds through the air really was Calvin Williams, who had a career day.
Love Calvin Williams.
11 targets, 8 catches, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns. All 3 of Randall's touchdowns went to our guy Calvin, including an 80-yard bomb. And the Birds defense, I mean, Hall of Famer Eric Allen with one of his many pick sixes, a 29-yard pick to the house, which really, when you think about it, Tek, that's the difference in the game. That's a third quarter pick 6. They only won the game by 3 points. What a club this was. Then these Redskins, if you think, remember, they were coming off of a Super Bowl title 2 years early. This probably felt like somewhat like a playoff game in there. That group of Birds never really reached their full potential, but on this day, Rich Kotite led the Birds to a 3-0 start and a 34-31 win at the Vet.
Woo! There it is. All right, excited to hit the Vet line with our guy, Johnny Marks.
Yeah, man. Good to have John back on.
Yes, it is. We're going to talk Phils. We're going to talk some more Birds. Let's get to it and hit the Vet line.
And now, it's the Vet line.
Why don't you answer your phone?
Joined now on the Vet line by Jon Marks.
Yes, sir.
He needs no introduction. Marks, thanks for joining us.
What's up? What's up, guys? How are you?
We're good, man. 2-0 Birds, Super Bowl champions. Feels good to be 2-0 when you're coming off of a Super Bowl. The Chiefs very well could have stolen that game. What are your overall thoughts on the Birds so far? And how do you feel going into this game at home against the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was walking into on the show today because I know a lot of people are up in arms or don't like how the passing offense looks or doesn't look how the offense looks or whatever. And I mean, I don't know. That's a pretty tough game to win in Kansas City. Yeah. Pat Mahomes has never lost 3 games in a row before. And I don't think the Chiefs are the team that they used to be by any stretch of the imagination. But still, that's a team that knows that they can't fall to 0-2. It's a tough place to play. That place was loud especially in the first half. And at no point during that game did I feel like the Eagles were going to lose.
Same.
Not at one point during the game. I didn't.
Same.
And
yeah.
They have this air of we got this, and they're not blowing teams out, and they did a lot of the same things last year. But I was like, they're going to beat them, and they beat them. It wasn't overly impressive. It wasn't, but I never thought they were going to lose. So I mean, so far so great, man. I mean, they're 2-0. If anybody has ever earned the benefit of the doubt, it's Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. They had the best year in franchise history and won the Super Bowl last year. So how could I even be worried about anything right now? They're 2-0.
I completely agree with everything how you conveyed it. Going to KC, going into that game, you thought, okay, well, if they do drop it, you understand why. Like you said, it's Mahomes never lost 3 in a row, but there's something different. They don't have the same aura they used to have. And this group of Eagles, they just find a way. I kind of likened it to how Donovan and Andy would win games ugly in that stretch. The difference is they didn't have any hardware behind them like this group does. Jalen just manages to do enough. He doesn't turn the ball over. He protects the ball. Overall, going into this game with the Rams, what do you think would have to look different against the Rams to get OW at the Linc on Sunday?
I mean, it didn't feel like going into Kansas City, there was this big revenge thing. You know what I mean? And I don't know, revenge factor, what percentage of that is real and what is kind of made up by us.
Right.
But it didn't feel like it was Oh, man, Kansas City's waiting for the Eagles. They're pissed from the Super Bowl last year. The Eagles, you know what I mean? Like teams that win the Super Bowl and did it so easily against a team, you come in thinking it's going to be easy because you just kicked their ass. And not that it was easy, but Kansas City isn't playing right now with a lot of confidence, especially on offense. Their defense has been carrying them for the last couple of years. They still have a very good defense. Now, when I look at the Rams, I feel totally different because I heard Sean McVay during the Super Bowl. I heard some of their players during the Super Bowl after the season was over that like they were still pissed about that game and the snow, and they were driving. I mean, do we realize they were driving? Matt Stafford had him inside the 20. Was it a Jalen Carter sack that really changed the fortune of that drive?
Two
of them. Yeah. So that was a really close game. I really like their defense. I like their defensive line. We know on offense that McVay is a genius and he schemes guys open. Puka Nacua is unbelievable. I love the dude. He's amazing. Devontae Adams is now your number 2 wide receiver. So when you look at this team, I truly believe in like these guys are coming in with an edge. Like we should have beaten them last year. They won the Super Bowl, and we can beat them now. So there's that, but there's also matchups, right? So when I look at the weaknesses on the Eagles right now, I feel like their biggest weakness is their defensive secondary with Adoree Jackson or whatever else they're going to put back there. And like Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua is legit, and Matt Stafford can sling it. So, like the Eagles offense is going to have to step up because I feel like there's going to be some passing yards in this game. So, yeah, I mean, like, I thought they were going to beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs. I thought they were going to beat the Cowboys. I thought it was going to be a close game. It was. I think this is going to be a really tough game on Sunday, 1 p.m. game. And I believe the Rams have some revenge on their mind, and I think they're motivated to get it done.
Yeah, I agree with you. They definitely are. They have the horses, if you will, to come out there and make it really interesting. Defensively, talking about the secondary, what are your thoughts on putting Coop on the outside sometimes, if necessary? You know, if, say, Adoree's getting victimized by whoever he's got to cover, whether it's Puka or it's Devontae. What do you think about, should they do that?
Oh, man, it's not going to end well for Adoree Jackson in Philadelphia. You know, like
I don't think so.
We get so frustrated and we get downright mean with guys that can't play, and he doesn't look like he can play. Right?
Yeah.
Howie brought him in because it's kind of, all right, he didn't cost a lot of money. He's a veteran. He started in this league. They're going to give Keely Ringo a shot. And you know what? Keely Ringo doesn't look like he can play in this league as well. So they having Slay, and I think a lot of us maybe took Slay for granted a little bit because he was a really good player. And now you have a not really good player in Adoree Jackson. So yeah, they're going to have to figure it out. If that means that Coop's playing a little bit more on the outside, or they're going to have to protect Adoree Jackson, maybe the cat that they acquired from Oakland, from Las Vegas at the end of training camp.
Bennett,
maybe he's able to figure the defense out and he's able to start or something else. Maybe it's a trade deadline acquisition. I don't know, but it's the weakness of the team right now. And, you know, it's not like the Eagles are the one team that wants to run the ball and play defense. Everybody else wants to throw it. So that's not good for this Eagles team. Now, how much pressure can you get up front? If they can get to the quarterback, you won't worry about that as much. And, like so far it's been okay. But I'm looking forward to seeing some of these younger guys getting it going, keep it going, and getting to the quarterback.
John, Sunday against the Chiefs, did we see the beginning of the end for the tush push?
Yeah, I think that the beginning of the end was last year when they were able to, even though it didn't get voted out, they came 2 votes from doing it. So yeah, I mean it's done, and it's kind of comical that it's just like there's always there's canned responses for the tush push, right? Like for a while it's not a football play, it's a rugby scrum, right? And then it shifted to the injury stuff, and then it was like, but no one's actually been injured. Yeah, but they could be injured. We have to look out in case that happens. They could be injured. This week was, oh my God, they couldn't possibly officiate the play. It's so Dean Blandino whining on TV like, I'm done with the tush push.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it can't possibly be officiated. It's so dumb. The stuff's so dumb. Jason Kelce, I thought, made a really good point on, I guess it was on Twitter or it was on his podcast where he was talking about like, hey, even on regular quarterback sneaks or short yardage, the same things happen. The offensive line's trying to get off right when the ball snapped, like on every other play, and the defensive line's trying to do the same thing. So this is independent of the tush push. This is what happens all the time. So and the reason you don't see it is that on the freaking camera jammed in there, paying attention, seeing guys jumping. Who knows what happens on a regular snap? We're not looking at it like you put it in slow motion and you see everybody leaving early. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I would be shocked at this point if the tush push is back. And if it's not, the Eagles will do a regular quarterback sneak, and they'll get 87% instead of 96%.
That's what I was saying. They have so much power up front as it is.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
They'll be okay.
Over a play that gains 1 yard, maybe 2.
Right.
So I heard Kyler Murray. I think it was Kyler Murray. I read Kyler Murray had told the Cardinals, like, I ain't doing that. No way. Right. So if you think about it, for that play to work as well as it does for the Eagles, or even close, you need a couple of different things. A, you need like a huge, massive offensive line. B, you need a quarterback that's not only willing to do it, but is built to do it.
Right.
Yes.
So Jalen's not only willing to do it, he's the one quarterback that you want to do it. Like Josh Allen's a big dude. Josh Allen can also throw the ball a lot better than Jalen can, right? So it's like the Bills don't necessarily want him doing that because of injury. Jalen almost needs to have this a part of his repertoire to make him as dangerous as it makes him. As silly as to say, like a 1 yard tush push is really his signature play. He does a lot of things well, but he doesn't like when you watch Eagles games now, he doesn't care. He throws the ball down the field really in all that much in these games. Because if you get 8 yards, if you get to a 3rd and 2, they're getting a first down almost every time, like 90-some%.
It's so exciting.
It's unstoppable. He's unstoppable.
So
unstoppable. It is.
I get excited, John. I get really excited.
But yeah, it's amazing because you hear people bitch about it and it's so boring and this and that. And I go, oh, it's like it's Wednesday and you're still talking about it from Sunday. Like, so it's obviously there's somewhat intriguing to you if you're talking about it in the media. But
yeah,
if Aaron Rodgers could do it, they wouldn't be talking about it. I'm convinced.
Right. Hey, well,
it's because it's Philadelphia. It's because it's Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Everybody has to have something to cry about, and we are usually what they're going to cry about.
That's hard to believe, but
nobody likes us. We don't care, I think is how it went once upon a time.
There it is.
And that's still valid today.
It could be.
On to the Phils, though. How about these Philadelphia fighting
NL
Phils?
East champs, John. What are your thoughts heading into October on this team?
Yeah, last year I would have told you I didn't feel great about it.
Yeah.
And
me too.
You know, you kind of and I tried to put up a brave front and be like, all right, F the Mets.
Me too.
They're going to be all right. Like, I don't care. But I don't think anybody felt good about that series going in because the Mets were playing with that right? Like that intangible thing that's just like they're playing with confidence. They're playing well. The Phillies last year had played their best baseball in the first half of the season, and they ran out of gas. And what happened was what I expected to happen going in this year. And damn it, you wish that Wheeler was healthy because having him at the top of your rotation would be really something special. But as it stands, I didn't check on Bet Parks, but I saw one of the online, like the overseas books or whatever, had the Phillies as the favorites to win the World Series. To win in the first 2 games in Los Angeles against the Dodgers elevated them to being the World Series favorite. They're certainly playing with a lot of confidence, and they're playing with a lot of swagger, and it feels like the team has come together. The Bader acquisition, for all the shit we give to Dave Dombrowski for bad signings and everything else, and he deserves it. He's had his fair share. The Bader trade was unbelievable.
He got it right. He got it right.
Ball player.
Yep.
He is like he could have played on the '93 Phillies. Like
he's Nails Jr. He's Nails Jr.
Yeah, you got to re-sign this guy. He needs to be here.
Yeah.
You needed an everyday center fielder, and you found one.
I know.
And I find especially and watch, he'll probably suck next year. But like, he's been great. He's been great. He's helped carry you. And Kepler also has really, and this is what I said to everybody who was going nuts and wanted him designated for assignment and to bring up Crawford, was like, Crawford has no power potential. You got to hold on to him for as long as you can, because if he starts to click a little bit, at least he's a guy that can hit, that has some pop. And he's been good as of late. Castellanos is kind of flaming out a little bit, but like you have options now in the outfield. And the fact that you also have Duran at the end of the game, they haven't had that at all.
No.
So, it's almost like they're a tush push. Yeah. You know, you're taking one inning away.
Sort of.
You're taking one inning away.
And I can't, I mean, you had Craig Kimbrell, who was horrible. You had Alvaro. Who was the closer of the year that they went to the World Series? Was it a combination of like Alvarado and
Robertson, right?
Robertson was there, right? Like you never had that's your closer every single game. We don't need to have a conversation about it. It's not about matchups. You're not bringing Duran in the 7th inning because you're like, oh, well, that's the highest. No, he's your freaking closer, so you don't have to worry about that. So the Phillies have a lot of things going for them. I wish they had one more starting pitcher. I wish Zach Wheeler was there.
Yeah, the Wheeler injury,
devastating.
If they don't win it all, they get to the World Series.
It'll be that you could point to.
That'll be the obvious kind of built-in excuse, if you will. But I want to dive a little more into a detailed question here about October. First round, personally, I would rather the winner of the Cubs-Padres series as opposed to the Dodgers, and then whoever steals that third wild card, whether it's Arizona getting it from the Mets or if it's the Mets holding on. Personally, I would rather have one of those teams in a 7-gamer later on and have the Cubs or the Padres in a 5-gamer, which is why I want them to really try to get that 1 seed. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. 1 seed's important. I just feel like the Phillies match up very well against the Padres and honestly the Cubs too. Yeah. But what we've seen in however many years in a row now is that the team that gets hot at the end of the season and is playing playoff games for all of September because they need to win those games to get into the playoffs, they're fighting for their lives. They're very difficult to beat when you get them in a short series. Phillies they were that team once upon a time. So yeah, do you sell your whole team out and to try to get that number 1 seed? I mean, I'm not telling you that you pitch an injured pitcher or something like that, but yeah, for the most part, these guys should be playing until you see what happens. Now, if you get behind by the Brewers by 2-3 games, and it's like, all right, well, listen, maybe take the foot off the gas a little bit, but listen, the year the Phillies won the World Series 2008, they got good matchups. They had Cole Hamels that started every single game 1 of the series of their series, and they had to play the Rays, who weren't very good, right? So matchups are so important, and you just hope that the Phillies get the best one.
So speaking of matchups, then pitching wise, are you going to base who our third pitcher is in a 7-game series or the 5-game series based on matchup? Like, for example, are you going Luzardo, Nola, or even Buehler possibly based on what those guys have looked like career wise against those lineups they might face?
Oh man, it's
scary.
Luzardo is, what was it, 2 starts ago or his last start where he gave up the 4 runs in the first inning
and then had a perfect game.
Yeah, perfect game. Then he threw a perfect game. 7 innings.
Yeah, ridiculous. I never see. I mean, have you ever heard of anything like that, John?
No, he drives me nuts.
He does.
He drives me absolutely crazy. So do you put him out there because he has the obvious upside? He strikes out a lot of guys, but there's obvious upside. Is he your number 3 starter over a Nola, who the ERA is still in the 6s, but he has experience in the playoffs?
Right.
You mentioned Walker Buehler. You do a piggyback game with Buehler and not like. I got to go with Luzardo. I mean, you have three friggin' left-handed starters. Your top 3 starters would be left-handed. This goes back to the matchup. What if you're playing a team that's heavy right-handed hitter or that likes to play platoon and they have power hitting right-handed hitters? That's not necessarily a great matchup for 3 left-handed starters. So I go Luzardo. I don't know. I guess Nola would be your 4 starter, man. I don't know. It's he's your fourth starter. You would only have to use him in 2 series if you would have to do it. So see how he's pitching down the road.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Before we let you go, John, and we appreciate you hopping back on with us, give me a score prediction for the Birds on Sunday at the Linc.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah.
Feet to the fire.
Yeah, I'm worried about this one. A little bit.
Fair enough.
You'll probably never hear me. Well, at least right now, I'm not gonna pick against the Eagles. They're 18-1 in their last 19 games. Right. They are gonna lose games.
Right.
But I mean, let's be honest. The offense hasn't looked great. And I really believe the Rams are coming in here pissed, remembering last year.
They are.
Yeah.
So Ike used to do this every week when he picked the Eagles to win. You can tell what he really believes based on the score. So if he's like 21-20, it's like, all right, so you think that they're going to lose the game. Right. 21-20 Eagles. I
like it. I'm going 30-24. I think Tek's in the 20s as well.
27-23. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see what it is.
So that's what's the line? Is the line 4.5? I haven't looked in a day or two.
The Birds are definitely home favorites. I think kind of based on what you had mentioned, the fact that they are 18-1 in their last 19 games. They are 3.5-point favorites right now.
Yeah.
Yahoo
3.5.
Sports, whatever Yahoo Sports uses.
That opened up at 4.5, so that's been bet down. You think about that, 3.5 points. And if you go by the whole home field advantage thing is 3 points. So really what they're telling you right now, the odds makers are like, oh, it's going to be a tough game, man. Yeah.
But what tells me is that it's still an Eagles line is that the over is only at 44.5. So that tells me that it's an Eagles line because, in my opinion, if the Rams are going to win, they're going to score some points.
They're going to score points.
Yeah. So, but it's a close one, man. This is if they would lose it, you can quote absorb it, even though it's a conference loss.
Yeah,
because
you can absorb it.
You're still 2-1. They started 2-2 last year, but it is going to be a tough one. John, we appreciate you hopping back on the VetLine, man.
Love it, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Johnny Marks.
Yeah, man.
Vet alum.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, it's a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan.
We are in an era that really has only been matched maybe by the early 80s.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
It's great. We're breathing rare air here in the city of Philadelphia. At least momentarily.
In the prime of our lives.
Before our hearts get broken, maybe later. All right. We got picks. Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
It's time for Prem's Picks.
These games are a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
Prem's NFL picks. How'd we do last week, Prem?
Started out 2-1, Tek.
All right, there you go.
Eagles beat the Chiefs.
Yep.
I gave you the upset. I told the whole world the Falcons are beating the Vikings.
yeah,
I
you
gave
did.
you the NFC upset of the week.
No J.J. McCarthy glazing the next day.
And it wasn't even close. And the Saints did not beat the Niners, although that was a very tight game in the second half. Saints had every opportunity to go and get that win.
They did. They're just not good enough.
They're just not good enough. I thought maybe the Dome would get it for them because the Dome sometimes wills them to win.
Right.
But nevertheless, 2-1 out the gate. Picking up where I left off with baseball with a winning record right out the chute.
There it is.
And I have 3 explosive NFL locks for you.
Locks.
Well, Tek, the Bengals, as we mentioned earlier, are without Joe Burrow, who will never win a Super Bowl.
Never.
They're going to Minnesota to play the Carson Wentz-led Vikings.
Yes, Wentz and Mariota both should start this week. How you like that?
Hilarious. I'll tell you, the Bengals with Jake Browning, he looked better than people realized last week. And I think that the Bengals go in there this week and beat the Carson Wentz-led Vikings because Wentz will throw.
Oh, boy.
He will throw 2 interceptions. And they will be very crucial interceptions in the second half.
There you go.
They give the Bengals short fields. And they still have arguably the best receiver in the world, Jamar Chase. Give me the Bengals over the Vikings. Both teams trying out backup quarterbacks.
Lock.
Next, Tek, this is a good one. Last week, I gave you an NFC upset, an NFC road upset I gave you. Well, this week, I'm giving you an AFC road upset.
All right. As
the Denver Broncos and one Bo Nix travel to L.A. to play the Chargers on a Sunday 4 o'clock CBS kickoff. You know, unequivocally, it's Nance and Romo on the call.
Yep. Division game.
Chargers Khalil Mack headed to IR.
Oh, boy.
Really big development. They're still 3-point favorites, but that tells me that that's a toss-up game.
Could be.
Kind of like we talked about with Marks with the Birds and the Rams.
Yep.
I like the Broncos to go in there and do enough to win. I think it's going to be really close. One of those classic AFC West battles.
Yep.
But give me the Broncos on the road in a stadium that really isn't like a home stadium for the Chargers anyway.
Nope.
Denver over LA, Sunday 4 o'clock. Lock. Lastly, Tek, I mentioned we talked about the Colts and the Titans earlier. It's an AFC South game. These games tend to be a little wonky sometimes. You really never know what you're going to get. The Colts look solid. They're favorites on the road in Tennessee, as they should be, and I think that holds true. And the Colts get the AFC South win, move to 3-0 in Tennessee. Now, it's very interesting, though, Tek. They're only 3.5-point favorites.
Which means, I think like the Eagles, half point.
But I think it's because the odds makers know that these AFC South matchups, they get kind of weird sometimes, these games. You have a lot of results that you don't normally get. Titans are a desperate club. You have a young quarterback in Cam Ward trying to get his footing. Any one of these games could be a breakout day for him.
Yep.
I don't think it comes against the Colts.
No.
I think Daniel Jones, like we mentioned, is protecting the ball well.
Yep.
He really is performing like the Daniel Jones the Giants thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
I don't care. Give me the Colts in Music City, Tennessee, over the Titans. Lock. So to recap, Tek, we have the Bengals and backup quarterback Jake Browning going to Minnesota to beat the Vikings and backup quarterback Carson Wentz. Lock. The Broncos headed out to L.A. to play division rival, division-leading L.A. and Justin Herbert in their building. I don't care. Give me the Broncos to get the upset win. Lock. And lastly, another divisional tilt in the AFC. Give me the Colts on the road in Tennessee to get the 3-0 over the Titans. Lock. This has been week 2 of Prem's NFL Picks.
There it is. Go Birds. This is a big game.
Big game.
Go Birds. We will see you next week.
Vet Alumni.